We are here today to celebrate the impassioned generosity of Madame Nam Chu Ko, parenthesis Yang, and her enduring support to Korean studies at the University of Washington actually is kind of a new chapter of study of Korea in not only at University of Washington but also in the entire rest of the United States. So we deeply thank Madame Ko for support. Because of her support, actually, you are in a better position to train the future generation of Korean scholars and to support the groundbreaking study of Korean faculties here and beyond. So I really appreciate Madame Ko.
제가 벌써 미국에 온 지 57년. 네? Oh, well, I can do either one. Okay. Oh, okay. He wants me to say it in English. So, hold your chairs. Thank you for the UW Dean and the Director of Hoffman and Korean Consul General Eun-ji Seo. I'm very proud of you. First woman Consul General. And we have Vice Consul General, another lady. And I thank you, the Korean distinguished guest. And I didn't know my little deed could be exaggerated to this far. Me being the small town girl, I am very impressed. Anyway, like I say, I immigrated to Washington State back in April of '67. Actually, I didn't have $200 in my pocket. I started out $200, but I spent $100 in Japan. So I started out with $100. And that was far more than other students that came to States. They came with $50. That's how little Korean government had the dollars in their possession. Anyway, my life in U.S., it wasn't easy, as you might have guessed, and but I was able to persevere whatever discrepancies that people placed on me. But I was able to stick out with my Korean pride. Being that I was graduated in 1962 in Seoul, Korea, Gyeonggi Girls High School, and that pride really supported me. And then I graduated from the Evergreen State College, the Greener, back in 1979. My 13-year effort while being a single mother, working full-time, going to school. But what did I get? Nothing. Yeah, when you're a Korean, when you're a minority and woman and single, divorced, you really don't get much credit. So college degree didn't help me much. And also when I immigrated, that was not for the pursuit of American dream. Not really. Because at that time I didn't know what American dream was. Now I do. And I like to point out my precious experience when I worked for the Washington State Commission on Asian American Affairs. That was a big thing. I learned a lot about American society, the legislative process, and that started with Governor Dan Evans, who started out establishing a advisory council on Asian American affairs, Mexican American affairs, and Women's Council. Of all that councils, Asian American Affairs Council was the only one approved by the state legislature to become a Commission on Asian American Affairs. I think it's now called as Commission on Asian American Pacific Commission, I think. But that was very important experience in my American life. And as you might have all guessed, I have experienced and saw and read about all the discriminatory activities which unfortunately still is going on. But back in 70s and 80s, I worked my best to help out, working with the Women's Council and Urban League and any other group that is to campaign to promote the status and rights of racial minorities and women. One time I went to a NOW organization's conference, and what I noticed, but they didn't notice, was all the panel members on the stage was all white women. So I said, is American womanhood only applied to white women? And she said, well, come on up. I said, no, not as an afterthought. But you need to think about that. You know, problems that faced with the minorities, racial minorities and women are the same. They have a problem with the education. They have a problem with the economic disadvantage. You know, all the problems are the same. So everybody needs to work together, not for racial minority, not for Black matters, but Koreans matter too, you know? So I don't think that we should generate a separate discrimination style among us. So we are all one, and we should respect each other, help each other. So that's my point. There was one thing interesting. Koreans immigrated in large numbers beginning 1970. When I came, there was 3,000 Korean people came to the States. But after that, they came in thousands. But the literature, books like literatures, are not part of their household baggage. And I talked to state library about existence of Korean literature, and they didn't have any. And they say, yeah, we do get requests from other regional libraries to borrow. So I said, well, maybe it's time that we got some Korean literature books. So they agreed, and then they budgeted $200. And they couldn't find a Korean bookstore. Anyway, I managed to locate a bookstore in LA and divvied up this $200 into 40 literature books, from Tolstoy's to Santoki for children, you know? And I don't know what happened to that 40 books. But that was the first 40 literature books, Korean books in State Library. Yeah. Okay. And about Korean studies, I think Dr. Ha and everybody knows better than I do. And when Dr. Han came down to Olympia, talked to me about it, I don't know how he knew about me.
I'll tell you later on.
Anyway, he talked everything that I had in my heart. So I was so impressed with his passion and his intellect, and I agreed to support. So we have 2 of the endowment funds, and that's how it all started. So I'm not going to do the whole thing here. So I really appreciate everybody's wonderful, gracious remark for me, and my head is up there. So thank you, everybody.
It was early in the morning, September 5th, 2020. I got a phone call from Madam Kong. I don't know how he located my phone number. It was my private phone number, home number. And then,
God told me.
yeah, and then because as Dr. Park and the others here remember, we were in the midst of another fundraising because Korean Center was in trouble. Then, indeed, it was God's call, and you called me up, and that's how the relationship all started. So I went down there and then to talk about the importance of Korean studies at UW, and then indeed, she mentioned to us the pride of graduating Gyeonggi Girls High School. Actually, Gyeonggi High School is now it's a little bit changed, but then at the time, the best girls' high school, more than best girls' high school in South Korea. And once she said that when she had to fill out the employment form, there was a line for college, but she didn't graduate yet from college. So she said, I graduated the best girls' high school in Korea. That's how she filled out the paper. So that much she held pride in Korea so high. Okay. Anyhow, although it's a small token, the Korean Center and our faculties prepared small plaque in our appreciation of the support so far. So you are much younger than I am. So these are the future of our Korean studies here. Okay? So Professor Cho, Korean literature, Professor John, Korean history, and then now her future is coming out soon. And Professor Kim Eung-san specializing in Korean movies and Asian movies. On behalf of our faculties, we prepared this small token of appreciation. So let me read out this, although it may take some time, a few seconds. Okay? So, with sincere appreciation and gratitude, the Center for Korean Studies presents this plaque to Namju Ko, parenthesis Yang. Madam Ko's impassioned support of Korean studies at University of Washington allows our deepening community of students and scholars to pursue boundless education and innovative research. Our legacy will enhance the richness of Korea studies at University of Washington and help shape the direction of the Center for Korean Studies for the decades to come. For her generosity, we are forever grateful. All the faculties here. Once again, thank you.
Somebody did a good printing.
You made correct grammatical error there.
Oh, goodness. Wow, thank you.
The Korea Center is very proudly a part of the Jackson School, and It's really a thrill, Madam Ko, to be here with you, to have met you in person today, and thank you for that. Consul General Saab, great to see you again, Mr. Ikwan Lee, and so many distinguished members of the community, representing associations and individuals being with us here today, so thank you. Which is, to my mind, the Korea Center really exemplifies the best of area studies at the University of Washington, within the Jackson School, but across the College of Arts and Sciences and the University of Washington. I know that there's there's a vision to have Korea Studies at the University of Washington be a regional leader in Korean Studies work, and importantly, to imagine Korean Studies futures. And so, Madam Ko, everybody in this room has been so generous and supportive of this center. I want to thank you for making that possible.
I want to offer a warm welcome from the College of Arts and Sciences Dean's Office to everyone who's attending today's event. And I thank the leaders and the staff of the Center of Korea Studies for organizing this reception. We gather today to recognize and honor the generous and ongoing contributions of Madame Nam Chu Koi, who has made a priority of supporting the Center for Korea Studies in recent years. Her record of support is significant, and we're deeply appreciative of her attention and efforts on several fronts. For what has been now more than 20 years to foster a strong, productive collaboration between the university and the local community. In many ways, this relationship is an exemplar of the sort of community-based work that our university sees increasingly as central to our mission as a public institution and as an internationally recognized hub for excellence in research, teaching, and engagement. I'll point out, some of you may not know, but Professor Kause launched an initiative this fall to enhance community-engaged work in scholarship and learning across the university. And in many ways, the work that has been going on here for more than 2 decades is on the vanguard, gives us a clear example. So I thank you for that. We're going to try to do more of it across campus. To focus on more concrete impacts, it was leadership and commitment of the local community, which launched a broad funding campaign engaging the efforts and contributions of many local community members, several of which are in this room, to help fund and secure the vitality of the center in earlier days. These efforts, which galvanized partnerships with the Korean Foundation and the Academy of Korea Studies in Korea, led to the creation of 2 endowed faculty positions. The impact of these endowments, alongside the more recent endowments from Madame Koi, have been transformational, securing the future of vibrant scholarship and committed mentoring and teaching of students here at UW through the Center for Korea Studies.
Congratulations, your work. I have some problem this speech, and so I'm using my friend and Korean Historical Society, and he will do all the talks.
It's not often you get a chance to speak for somebody else, but a good friend. Good afternoon. Today I'm delighted and moved to be part of an event celebrating the generosity and noble intentions of Ms. Nam Ju Go. I would also like to express my gratitude to Professor Young Chol Ha and the faculty at the Korea Studies Center who organized this event, and to all of the other officials involved. As someone who has been closely observing Korean studies at the university for over 20 years, I'm deeply touched when I reflect upon the changes and progress made during this time. When reviewing this progress, the overriding takeaway is the partnership between the university and the Korean community. In forging this partnership, there were unforgettable challenges, to be sure, but the solutions we found to those challenges is what brings us here today. I recall that in 2001, budget shortages threatened to terminate Korean history and related courses that have been taught at the Jackson School for over 60 years. In response, students and members of the Korean community formed a Save Korean History Committee. And on March 1, 2002, over 250 students and members of the Korean community protested on campus against those cuts. These campus protests led to a petition campaign that gathered over 3,500 signatures in the Korean and university communities. In the ensuing years, other forms of support from the Korean community, such as grassroots fundraising, like the one person $10 campaign sponsored by the Korean daily newspaper, and support from the then Korean President Kim Dae-jung and the Korea Foundation. Support also came from organizations like the University of Washington Alumni Association in Korea, as well as many individuals who took time out of their day to lobby the state legislature for funding. The record of this support demonstrates the high regard that the Korean community places on Korean studies and the importance of the partnership between our community and the university.
I believe her love and affection for Korea, along with her pride as a Korean, led her to donate to the UW Korean Studies program. I think the giving and sharing is something that anyone can do. Not everybody does. So the world's most renowned investor, Warren Buffett, once said, "Passion is the key to success." But sharing or giving is the perfection of success. In other words, the success doesn't breed sharing. Rather, it's the sharing that cultivates the true success. I first met Madame Go 2 years ago. Even before then, she had been the constant donor for the UW Korea Center and Korean Studies program. At that time, I recommend that her invisible deed should be publicized through the media coverage, because I thought that that kind of the coverage will inspire others in Korean community who has the similar intention to join or follow her footsteps. But at that time, she refused to do so. Yeah, so that's why for the last 2 years it hasn't happened. But today I'm very happy that her the invisible contribution is finally being shared with others. So I really hope that kind of recognition will inspire many of the Korean community who to serve more, to share more, following her good intentions and good indeed. As many of you are aware already, the UW Korea Studies program that faced the threat of the discontinuation. At that time, Korean community, initiated by Dr. Lee Khan, who's joining us today, rallied together to save it. Since then, UW Korean program has been a source of our pride for the Korean community. So this time today, the Korean Studies program is poised for a second significant new leap forward under the visionary leadership of Professor Ha. So that's why, taking, this opportunity, I earnestly request, UW to lend your robust support for the Korean program. And also that I urge Korean community to keep your continued support and expand more, to help, the Korean program, to further grow. As a Consul General of Korea, I commit myself to ensure that Korean community, the Korean government continue to support the UW Korean program as a vital bridge between Korea and the United States, as well as Korea and the Washington State.
Also, and I have to decide to deliver my speech in Korean with the same providing the English translation. 저는 광역시들 한인회 회장 김원준입니다. 저를 이 영광된 자리에 초청해서 축사를 할 수 있도록 기회를 주시니 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 오늘 양남주 여사님께서 100만 달러 이상의 거액을 그동안 워싱턴 대학 한국학센터의 박사과정 코스를 만들기 위해 기부를 기념하는 아름답고 고귀하며 영광스러운 날이라고 생각합니다. 양남주 여사님께
Should I repeat his introduction? My name is Wonjun Kim, and I'm the president of Greater Seattle Korean Association. It's an honor to be here. I think today is a beautiful and noble day to celebrate.
양남주 여사님께서는 거의 57년 전 단돈 $200만 들고 이민을 오셔서 각고의 노력과 배움의 열정의 결과로 주정부의 그 여러 기관에서 일을 하시면서 소수민족 여성의 인권 및 사회적 불평등에 관련하여 시민운동에 적극적으로 참여하셨다고 합니다. 한인 커뮤니티에서 한인 어린이들에게 한국어를 가르치시고 한국어 통역사들의 조직도를 만들어 봉사하셨다고 합니다. 이처럼 어려운 환경 속에서도 한국학의 중요성을 실천해 한평생을 바치신 분이십니다. 양남주 여사님께서 바라시는 워싱턴 대학 한국학 박사과정이 개설되면 외국어로서 한국학 중심으로 그 지평을 넓혀 이 자리에서 출발한 한국학은 인류의 보편적 가치 충진에 큰 기여를 하게 될 것이며 전 세계는 한국 고유의 다양한 문화를 재생산하면서 세계의 문화와 함께 지속적으로 발전하게 될 것이라고 생각합니다.
Mrs. Yang dedicated her whole life to promoting the importance.
마지막으로 한글 학자이신 외솔 최연배 선생님은 이렇게 말씀하셨습니다. 나라에 기회가 있는 것에 말과 글과 얼이 있다고 하셨습니다. 지금 이 시대에 양장주 여사님께서는 이영만리의 먼 이국 땅에서 한국학을 위한 문서, 물심양면 실천을 보여주시면 우리 한인 커뮤니티의 대단한 귀감과 표상이 될 것입니다. 우리 한인 커뮤니티에서 대한 다시 한 번의 감사를 양남주 여사님께 드리면서 마음속 깊이 경의를 표합니다. 감사합니다.
It is with great honor to be with you to celebrate a remarkable journey of Mrs. Ko, Mrs. Yang. You know, as a woman, I changed my name to Mrs. Park, but once in a while I want to be called Mrs. Xu. So I'm going to call you Mrs. Yang. From humble beginning as a first-generation immigrant to this country, your resilience and unwavering commitment to succeed and giving back to the society have been truly inspiring. Your recent contribution to Korea study program is monumental, showcasing the profound impact one person can have on shaping the future of the education and society. Your compassion and commitment to promoting cultural understanding and upholding heritage is a beacon of a light in our society. Your generosity will empower generations of students to explore Korean language and culture. Moreover, students can glean insights into the strategies and the determination that propelled South Korea's exceptional journey of development within such a short period. As Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Leadership is not about title, not about position, not about being the face of the organization. It is about one life influencing another, as John Maxwell said. Today, Mrs. Yang, we celebrate not only your generosity, but also your leadership and commitment to making a difference in our community. Again, thank you, Mrs. Yang, for your generosity and your vision in supporting this important initiative for global citizens. 고 여사님, 양 여사님을 만나게 돼서 진심으로 영광입니다. 멋진 삶을 사신 거 축하드리고 감사드립니다.
Hello, my name is Brian Park. I'm a second-year PhD student in the History Department, and I'm also one of many students who've been able to benefit tremendously from Madam Ko's generosity. Thanks to the largesse of the endowment by Madam Ko, I've been able to proceed with my academic studies and independent research without the worry of financial constraints. During my first year at University of Washington, the fall stipend helped offset the cost of moving to Seattle and settling in here. Madam Ko's funding also supported my research trip last year to Japan.
I'm a third-year PhD student of history at the University of Washington, and I'm studying North Korean history and Soviet Union's history. And thanks Madam Ko's generous funding, I was able to support my first-year study at here without any worries on the financial problems and things like that, which definitely established a great foundation for my studies. And for me, this is a really great moment of realization that I was actually thinking that this speech, I heard that this should be just kind of informal and very short, but now I'm